Greetings, dear viewer, and welcome to Purposes Crossed, where I hope that people who are called by Jesus for different purposes cross paths and exchange ideas. In this video, we continue with our series of reflections on the Sermon on the Mount. We have reached a place in the sermon where Jesus tells his disciples how to navigate oppressive situations. In the previous video, we looked at Jesus' words about turning the other cheek, and we saw that Jesus was giving his disciples a way of challenging oppressive situations that recovered their dignity while forcing a change in the oppressor in non-violent ways. Continuing with his description of ways of unmasking oppression, Jesus describes another situation quite commonly experienced by the poor in first century Palestine. According to Exodus chapter 22, verse 26, a garment taken in pledge had to be returned before sundown so that the poor person would not freeze in the night. However, this restriction was being obeyed so literally that the spirit of the words was ignored. Jesus paints a situation in which a poor person has borrowed money from a rich person and has given his or her only outer garment to secure the loan. The poor person is unable to repay the loan, and the rich person is trying to confiscate it through legal procedure, because Exodus chapter 22 verse 26 placed restrictions on the outer garment and not on the inner garment. The rich were denying the spirit of the legislation by using the silence as a loophole. I'm sure many of the viewers have heard of, if not directly experienced, such oppressive situations in which those with money and power abuse the law of the land by resorting to some loophole that allows them to continue oppressing the poor and powerless. Jesus suggests a course of action that is so outrageous that we often miss his point. He tells the poor person to strip naked and give the rich person his outer garment as well. If we take this to mean that Jesus is advocating public nudity, we will miss his point entirely and find excuses then for not obeying him. However, if we consider the spirit of what he is trying to say, we will fare much better. Through the act of stripping, the poor person is exposing the greed of the rich person. So concerned is the rich person about his money that he does not care if the poor person is warm at night. By stripping, the poor person is saying that, given the opportunity, the rich person would even seek to possess the poor person's outer garment. And since the legal system was circumventing the spirit of Exodus 22:26 in favor of the rich person, the injustice of the legal system is exposed. It is a system that would unclothe people in order to make the rich richer. These days, in which businesses and banks use their clout to trample on the common people and exploit them, we can truly understand how it is to live in an oppressive, exploitative situation, one that Jesus condemns. Also, in Jewish culture, when a person strips, shame comes upon the people who see him or her naked. This is seen in Genesis chapter 9, verses 20 to 27, where Ham is shamed and cursed by Noah for seeing Noah naked. By following Jesus' words in the court of law, the poor person shames everyone who is present. The legal system is painted into a corner. They can either continue the injustice and face God's wrath for seeing someone stripped naked, or restore both garments to the poor person. Unfortunately, these days businesses and banks have very little shame. They would not mind denuding a person in order to make a quick buck. And so, as we continue to live in a system that helps the rich get richer, forcing the poor to get poorer, we should ask Jesus for fresh insights on how to challenge these oppressive systems in order to attempt to restore some modicum of dignity to the human race.